and we welcome all of you to our very important hearing today. Yesterday, Americans saw that the price of gasoline hit a record high price. Today, on April Fool's Day, consumers all over America are hoping that the top executives from the 5 largest oil companies will tell us that these soaring gas prices are just part of some elaborate hoax. Unfortunately, it is not a joke. For nearly 8 years, this administration's energy policy has been in the tank. Shortly after President Bush took office, the price of oil was under $20. A few weeks ago, oil reached an all-time record high of $111 and currently trades at about $100 a barrel. During the same period, the price of gasoline has nearly tripled from $1.11 a gallon in 2002 to yesterday's all-time high when it hit yet another record of $3.29 a gallon. And as we approach the summer driving season, skyrocketing gas prices are likely to soar even higher. Each week, American consumers go to the gas pump and pay the price for this administration's failed energy policy. 20% of all households in America make less than $20,000 a year. With gas prices at $3.29 a gallon, the poorest 20% of American households are spending nearly 10% of their income just on gasoline. American consumers also know that the major oil companies are reaping a major financial windfall. Big Oil's profits have more than quadrupled over the last 6 years. Just last year alone, ExxonMobil recorded more than $40 billion in profit, the greatest corporate profit in history. And the 5 companies sitting before us today netted a combined $123 billion in profit in 2007. And what is the oil industry doing with all this profit? Unfortunately, it goes as much to financial engineering as to renewable engineering. Last year, the 5 largest oil companies spent more than $50 billion on schemes to prop up the price of their stock. And as they rake in the profits at a record clip, the major oil companies, supported by the Bush administration, are opposing legislation that would take $18 billion in tax breaks they currently receive and redirect it to renewable fuels and clean energy. In April of 2005, President Bush said, quote, with $55 a barrel oil, we don't need incentives for oil and gas companies to explore, and that was true in 2005. With the price of oil now doubled and our planet's thermometer rising, this administration must end its opposition to the renewable energy incentive package that the House passed last month. So on April Fool's Day, the biggest joke of all is being played on American families by Big Oil who are using every trick in the book to keep billions in federal tax subsidies, even as they rake in record profits. 3 things must happen immediately in order to ensure that consumers can begin to get relief from high prices. First, the poorest Americans are now spending an average of 10% of their income to pay for gasoline. We need the companies here today to make a similar commitment to American families and pledge to invest at least 10% of their profits in renewable energy and biofuels, develop alternatives that will help consumers. Second, your companies and the Bush administration must support, not oppose, legislation that will unleash the renewable revolution we need in order to become energy independent and cut global warming emissions. And finally, the Bush administration must stop filling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve during periods of high prices in order to send a signal to the market and oil speculators that Americans won't be held hostage by those high prices. For too long, this administration's energy policy has led to tax breaks for big oil and tough breaks for American families. American consumers shouldn't have to break the bank to fill the tank. The American people deserve answers, and it is time for big oil to go on record about these record prices. And now I would like to recognize the ranking member of the Select Committee, The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Sensenbrenner.
Thank you, Mr.